Roger Kowalski with iGlobal Forum here. We're recording this in July of 2022, and we're ramping up towards our September Independent Sponsors Summit in New York City. There's a big golf outing on September 20th, and the conference across the 21st and the 22nd. We're 2 months out. We're seeing some really incredible progress. It's going to be our best one yet. The numbers are great. It's really exciting. For members of the ISCP Club, the world's only community for independent sponsors and capital providers, a place where they could post deals and communicate with one another 12 months out of the year, and much more. They get to attend the conference for free. For everyone else seeing this, hurry up because we have super limited seats. And last time we needed to literally switch venues to hold everybody. The numbers outgrew the original venue. Also, for everyone watching this, we're really happy to speak with one of the panelists of the upcoming conference, a longtime supporter of the ISCP Club and the Independent Sponsor Summit, and not to mention a firm that's helped so many independent sponsors out with their funding needs. Founder and CEO of Star Mountain Capital, Brett Hickey. Brett, how are you?
Good, Roger. Always a pleasure.
Awesome. Great to see you. Great to see you. I'll see you in person in a couple of months. How's your summer been going?
Going by fast with the third little kid, especially. It seems like the people say that the days are sometimes long, but the years are short, and it's flying by.
So poetic. I felt it would be interesting to speak with you for 10 minutes ahead of the conference, because you're speaking on a panel that explores emerging capital sources and models for the independent sponsor market, and how the market's evolving for independent sponsors and for capital providers. And some of the people in the room are seasoned independent sponsors. They've been doing it for a long time. But when I walk around, I notice that a good handful are doing it for the first time. You guys, Star Mountain, has backed so many independent sponsors. What are some of the key things that your firm sees or does to be such a preferred partner to so many independent sponsors?
Yeah, it's a great question, Roger. When we started Star Mountain, I guess over 13 years ago now, it was really a purposeful design in how we built the business and how we built and trademarked collaborative ecosystem, for example, and investing in the growth engine of America as another trademark we have, where the focus is really to find high quality businesses and high quality people to work with them and figure out how we can come up with capital and resource solutions to help them grow. And with that in mind, we've structured a team, people local in 20 cities across the US. We can engage with people locally and really get to know them, get to know their businesses, and figure out how can we be helpful. And then also having different capital structures and different types of funds so that we can create bespoke, custom fit capital solutions to address what the needs are of independent sponsors. And the reality is every deal is a little bit different. Every need and desire that an independent sponsor and the business they're looking to buy has is different. And so we don't come at things from a cookie cutter approach. We come really trying to understand what are your goals as the independent sponsor, what are the dynamics of the business that you're generally looking to acquire or business is, what are the strengths and weaknesses, what are the challenges in trying to achieve this, and how can we be helpful? So we have 64 people plus an incremental 40 operating partners for over 100 people, over $3 billion in assets, 100% employee owned, where carried interest shared with all of those 100 people, where we're focused on figuring out how can we be most helpful. And we really think of it as being a hub and a resource. And with the labor intensity of the lower middle market, we really think of partnerships as being important. And we get that there's different fees and economics and so forth, but we're okay with that because ultimately the focus is alignment and value add and the right economics, so you have the right people focused on the right initiatives to help create value. And probably nothing within there sounds earth-shattering, Roger, but when you look at a lot of other institutions, they get tripped up over different things, whether how they need to structure a deal and they need to, squish a square peg into a round hole, or different dynamics. We have the flexibility, the understanding, and we're here to be helpful. And some independent sponsors want different things from us, not only in types of capital, but also in resources. If you're doing a lot of acquisitions and roll-ups, many partners of ours have ran some of the biggest investment banking divisions on Wall Street. We have full-time people that have been operators of businesses, taken them public, spun off divisions, integrated divisions. and depends on the situation and what resources the independent sponsor has as far as how we can add value. And we're delighted to do all of the above. And I think it's that flexibility and what we believe is the realism of the lower middle market and independent sponsors that allows us to have, really effective long-term partnerships.
I like that, the realism. You have the right expertise, people that have done this before, boots on the ground across the country. That's a big advantage. So, good. That's great to hear. I didn't know that you grew as much as you did, given what you just said. And another topic on our agenda, this is a good question. It's geared towards how capital providers can best position themselves to independent sponsors. What are some of the challenges that you see doing deals with independent sponsors, and then really how do you address them?
Yeah, it's a real spectrum. I think the first thing is having open, honest relationships. And as my wife and I talk about, neither of us are perfect, and you try to figure things out and raising a family and whatnot. And it's really no different in business in the sense where you have open conversations about, look, here are some of the challenges of executing this business strategy. Here's what we as the independent sponsor can bring to the table for capacity, resources, capabilities. And here's what we think we could use help with in coming up with those, right structures. And ultimately those challenges, I think mostly they come down to the communication. If both parties are really open and honest and, cards on the table, I think that's how you form a good partnership.
Right.
In my view of operating, it's not a good old fashioned Texas shootout. It's a collaborative approach where the partnership makes sense because it works for all people in the partners. It's not some high tension negotiation and zero sum game. What we found is that good business begets good business. And that's really what we're focused on, is doing good business with good people, taking an open mindset and approach to figuring out how you make things work. And as long as people approach things that way, we've found that, we've had very open, constructive partnerships. But I understand how some independent sponsors come in it really thinking that, okay, somebody's just focused on pounding me on fees or economics or governance or something. So they come at things sometimes very guarded and ready for that type of conversation. And we try to really build that rapport, having people local, having people that have been in their seat, the seat of the businesses as well that they're investing with, saying, hey, we get it, we understand it. Let's talk through what challenges we might all have. Let's talk through how to make this the highest probability possible for the outcomes that we all desire.
It sounds perfect. Do the right things the right way. The right things happen more often than not. So that's a great approach. When you're looking for independent sponsors, are there any particular attributes that you kind of focus on to see if it's the right match for you guys?
Yeah, it's interesting, Roger, because our platform is so broad in capability and the type of capital, amount of capital we can invest, it actually allows us to work with a pretty broad range of independent sponsors. And I think the word, first off, independent sponsor, it's a broad spectrum. We have partners that have ran major private equity firms and are writing very substantial personal capital checks and have really deep industry expertise and are local to the business and really rolled up the sleeves. And then you have other ones that were investment bankers and say, hey, I'd like to get more operationally involved, not just do a deal. We work with all of the above. And it actually really comes down to that pillar of transparency and communication and just saying, look, let's put our cards on the table. None of us can do everything in the world by ourselves, right? I can't personally, I need a team that I rely on. And so as long as we all approach it and just figuring out what that right structure looks like from, what operational needs are there, what type of capital, we just look to have that open, honest communication around that. And like I say, there's some situations where somebody really mostly found a deal and wants to be a little bit involved, and we're okay with that. There's other situations where the independent sponsor, used to work at the company that they're buying. It has a deep expertise and has substantial capital and wherewithal, where they're a family or a second generation family, and how they're approaching it, and everything you can kind of think of in between.
I understand completely. One topic that we're speaking about at the event, and kind of opening up with this topic, I might kind of put a pin into where we are if people watch this in a year or two from now. but it's July 2022. People are looking at kind of an inflationary market. There's supply chain issues for owners of businesses, labor shortage. There's things going on in the world, right? So does the current market environment change how you work with certain independent sponsors?
It does, in a sense that the current market environment is always forming our views on how we should be investing and what risks we think are more probable than others, and how to manage and mitigate those risks and capitalize on what type of opportunities they had. So I think one of the things for independent sponsors that's very important is that they're working with capital partners that aren't just trying to dabble and say, okay, well, let me put a little bit of resource, a little bit of money, this may or may not work out, but people that have dedicated, focused plans that understand that challenges are real, challenges will occur. Do they have the capital, the wherewithal, the structure of their funds and capital that allows them to have flexibility to grow, to deal with challenges, to opportunistically do an acquisition? We just helped one of our partners, for example, acquire a business in India that looks very accretive. You talk about supply chain. Well, another challenge that's been systematic is cost of labor. So, we were able to leverage some real insights that we had and assist them with evaluating this acquisition and figure out, if this can be a good fit, and help support them to do that, which can and will hopefully be really pivotal in assisting them, with some of their labor needs in a very strategic manner. But you really have to have, I think, the desire and the capability and willingness to go in deep with your partners and say, all right, let's figure this out. There's risks with everything, right? Buying a business in India, different laws, different jurisdiction, governance, there's a lot of different things you got to figure out, but there's also a real opportunity to it. And when you peel things back, you can figure out, what gives you the highest probability of desired outcome. And I think for us, we're really thinking a lot about that. And that gets into independent sponsors. We like to work with people that really want to think about, all right, where can we find value? Where are their challenges? How do we address them? Where are their opportunities? How do we get after them? And so I guess our views on industries probably haven't changed so much, but I do think that there are a lot of opportunities in the lower middle market. And one of the other ones that is reasonably likely to come about in this current economic environment are challenged businesses that are smaller and become orphaned, where if you can really look at them and understand how you might be able to repackage, reposition, get them back into growth and some stressed or distressed deals, this market environment is reasonably likely to have that. So we recently, as a team at Star Mountain, we're talking about what are some of the likely opportunities coming in front of us over the next 12 months, and what should we do to get our ducks in a row to perhaps take advantage of those. We also focus on managing different challenges and saying, okay, if rates go up another 200 basis points, how is that going to impact the businesses we're invested with? And constantly stress testing both for threats and opportunities to figure out how you can mitigate and capitalize on them. And it's almost like, if you think, I'll leave you with a little bit of a visual of an S, right? Growing up in Canada, we all think about the old hockey stick, right? And rarely is it actually a straight hockey stick, but it's more of hopefully kind of an S shape up and to the right, where on the bottom of the S, you want to mitigate those challenges. And when things swing up, you want to capitalize on it. And then you do that enough times, and you form a really nice band of an outcome that tends to work out well.
Yeah, that's the right way to look at it as well. I mean, and anybody that's working with you, I think, has a team of people that, with the right expertise, with the right boots in the ground and the right attitudes, hopefully make things work. So it's really good to get to speak with you. I know that you and your team do a lot of great work, and it's really, honestly, it's excellent to have seen you guys grow over the last couple of years that we've been together. And honestly, it's just to take a bigger picture view. It's incredible how much the middle market independent sponsor space has grown. And iGlobal Forum is here to
all thanks to iGlobal.
Yeah, all thanks to us, exactly. We're going to post how people can get in touch with you, Brett, and your team below this video in the description.
Yeah, we're always happy to chat. If we can be helpful, think of some ideas. We also have a secondary business if people want early liquidity in deals, the investors that want to get out of deals or investors that can't help support them anymore. We can buy into that. And through that, we also have interest in investments in a whole bunch of other funds. So it's not something we can be helpful with. We always try to be a good referral to other people that might be able to help you. So please, anybody, feel free to reach out. And And we'll always try to be as helpful as we possibly can be as part of this ecosystem, which, iGlobal is a great center of.
Great. Thank you for that. Anybody at the conference, please feel free to pat Brett on the back and talk to him, or find me. I'll bring you over. And anybody looking to attend the conference or join a foursome at the golf outing, or sponsor a hole at the golf outing, or to learn more about the ISCP club or anything, about its benefits, about the event, please just contact us at info@iglobalforum.com. One of us will get back to you immediately. I'm going to let Brett go now because I know he's got a loaded docket, but thank you for a few moments of your time, and I can't wait to see you at the big conference in September.
Pleasure. I look forward to seeing many of you soon. Have a great day.